If you're in between deciding on if you want to live by yourself or with a roommate, we're going to be going over more than just the pros and cons of having a roommate. Truthfully, we're going to go over my experience and the things that I learned kind of along the way. Quick rundown: when I first moved to Miami, I lived by myself. I then had 3 roommates. I then lived by myself again. I then had 1 roommate, and then now I am currently living by myself again. So going on 5 years with all of that experience, I think I can talk about this pretty well. First thing you have to do is know the type of person you are. You need to know if you're a type A or a type B person, okay? Self-reflect and really know the type of person you are. And you also have to know the roommate that you're considering. So not only do you have to understand yourself, you have to understand the person that you're gonna be living with, right? And the situation or baggage that they might be bringing to the table. Are they type A? Are they type B? You get me? So most living conditions are either 2 type A people. This is best case scenario because you guys both operate the exact same, right? Like that's best case scenario. That's just pretty hard to come by. So typically you're gonna have to do some sort of compromising, right? If you're type A and you are kind of like a control freak, this is kind of like me, you're gonna have to like have things that you necessarily maybe wouldn't have it. You just gotta accept it because this other person, your roommate, also pays rent. You know what I mean? They also might just be cool and let you rock. God bless. With that being said, if you are type A and then your roommate is type B, you just have to know mentally, like if you know that this person you're about to move in with, right? If you already have this roommate in mind, you have to know if you're gonna be taking control of situations. Bills, putting everything under your name, tracking all the expenses, and then you have to go to your roommate and say, yo, this is how much it costs, send it to me. For me personally, I like knowing everything was settled, right? I had all my bros, if I had roommates pay me, I paid the landlord, the building, whatever the case was, because I knew it got done and I wasn't worried about it. Cool, I'll do it. That's fine by me. That bothers a lot of other people because they're like, oh, this isn't 50-50. I'm doing all this work. I have to handle all the paperwork, everything like that. Everything's in my name. Or you can split the bills. Maybe one person pays Wi-Fi, the other person pays the electric. You guys have to figure that out. And then you also have like 2 type B people, which is just like you walk into their crib and it's a disaster. I really hope that's not you. So we're not even gonna talk about that. This isn't a pros and cons video, but some of the pros of having a roommate or roommates is just having people to hang out with, having people to talk to, having people, like when I say hang out, like go out and do things with, right? Especially if you're in a new city, those are like literally your first friends and you guys are going out and exploring that area together, right? That's a cool life experience. Maybe you want to live through that. I wouldn't trade the past years and experiences of having roommates for anything. That shit was a time. I look back like, bro, we were running around the streets of Miami. Like we were active. I knew I liked living by myself, but I had never had roommates before. And I was like, you know what? This is gonna be 1 year. I know it's not a forever thing, right? This is my advice. Like if you want roommates or like you've never experienced that before, you should, right? But make sure, again, I would highly recommend that you actually know these people. People who live with randoms or like find people off like Facebook groups. I'm like, what the fuck? Like that is something I would never personally do. Even though at times like, yeah, is it annoying sharing spaces? Are they leaving dishes in the sink? Again, that's another thing. You gotta be willing to have those conversations, right? Like you guys have to hold each other accountable. The biggest thing that when it comes to having roommates is that people don't know how to communicate with one another, right? So you have to know if you can communicate with somebody, your roommate, like, yo, dishes in the sink, what's up with that, right? And it's like, it's so crazy to me when I know people who have roommates and they're like, they're kind of messy. They leave their stuff out. I'm like, you don't tell them? No, it's like, because, I'm not really friends with her. We were like mutuals. Like I met her when I moved in or like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I could never do that in my life. Like if they're a messy person, you have to tell them to pick up after themselves. You know what I mean? So it's just something that you have to be mindful of if you're sitting here considering a roommate. Are you willing to have those conversations? If your answer is no, you might need to figure it out to live by yourself or just get comfortable having those conversations. Now, with all that being said, the experience was great, but I also knew that having roommates was not like my forever thing, right? I knew that with moving to the city, it was going to be expensive. I was like, I need to save up as much as possible. This is only for a short amount of time. Let me live it up. Let me get this experience because now I'll have something to look back and reflect and talk about. Look at what we're doing. I don't think you'll ever regret having a roommate. I think you can only really learn from it. And it's also going to force you to have those conversations that maybe you don't want to have, which is good self-development. Truthfully, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to having a roommate or not. People will message me, and especially people I don't know, and they're like, hey man, I really want to move to the city, but I need to find a roommate. I'm like, so then you need to find someone in your hometown who has the same vision as you, right? This is another thing that's very important. When you live with somebody, you guys, it's quite literally true. Like you're going to become one almost, unless you're literally like, I'm not like this person at all, but your energy is going to feed off of each other. It's automatically going to happen, right? So if your roommate's kind of like a lazy bum, And again, you might be mentally strong and be like, yo, keep that shit away from me. But it's gonna just be around you. And if you're someone who does not want that around you, you cannot have it around you. If you're gonna live with someone, do they share the same vision as you? That would be the biggest factor that I would say right now. If I was having a conversation with someone and be like, why do you want to have this roommate, right? It's very important to understand why something. Why do you want to live by yourself, or why do you want to have a roommate? And break it down, right? Like, you have to be able to articulate why. But at the same time, you might need to sacrifice a little bit of time to save up, get shit situated, get on your feet, and then you can move out, right? But either way, it's not a loss. You're getting a life experience, you're saving money, and guess what? If you don't like it, you're out of it in 1 year. That's the power of a lease. If you're moving to a brand new city that maybe you have never been to before, or you've been, but you're not really situated, you don't know the areas, I do think it is beneficial to get a roommate, because you're gonna save a lot of money, and then you're gonna be able to explore new areas that you haven't before, right? So think about it. You're in the city, you have this one area, you're saving money because you have a roommate, but now you're in that city and you're exploring more of it. And you're like, you know what? I live here, but I really like over here a lot more. So now I'm gonna save up my money from having a roommate, and I'm gonna move there afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, by all means. But if you know this is where I want to be in this city because you've been there before countless times, this is where I'm going to be, and I can afford to live by myself, I would recommend living by yourself. And maybe let's flip the scenario a little bit. Maybe you're someone who does want to change your life, but you do want a roommate because you know that's smart. You want to save money, but you can't find anyone to really move with you. Guess what? Make it happen. I've talked about this before. Get an Airbnb rental. That's what I did. You're going to be able to go month to month. You're not going to have to worry about furniture. You're not going to have to worry about utilities. People always think I'm talking about Miami. It could be anywhere. It could be overseas. Go to Europe. Go to Bali, go to Indonesia. A bunch of young adults I see now are going over there. Change your perspectives. Take control of your own life. If you want to get up and move, get up and move. You move, especially out of your own hometown. Worst case scenario is that you just move back. And guess what? You're in the same position that you were in. So you didn't lose really anything. If you think people back home are going to judge you, oh, he came back, oh, you're still here. At least you came back with new life experiences, right? You might go to that new city and not even like it. So imagine going to a city, spending all this money, and you're like, you know what? I didn't even really like it. Just go back. So get out there, create those new experiences. I promise you, you will not regret it. The only thing that you will regret is not taking that chance on yourself. Go out there and make it happen. What do you got to lose?